A while ago I spoke about literally me characters, spoke about Patrick Bateman, Tyler Durden, Officer K, but never really spoke about any female literally me characters. Now we're all about equality on this channel, you know, the Sigma female grind set, so let's have a look at those today. Some examples that come to mind are Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, Danny from Midsommar, and Amy Dunn from Gone Girl. And I stand by what I said about literally me characters, that they are self-insert characters that share insecurities with the audience while also being in power fantasy. There are some issues that a lot of these characters have with romance that I think I missed in my last video. For example, look at pickup artists and how they look at people like Patrick Bateman and use what he says and what he does as a successful method to attract women. I don't know about you, but if I wanted to know how to attract women, the last place I go would be a group of guys on the internet who seemingly can't hold down a healthy and stable relationship. Well, that's just bad market research. And this view of romance applies to female literally me characters as well. Look at Amy Dunn, someone who feels unfulfilled in their childhood and their current marriage with Nick Dunn. I mean, these issues, she doesn't express them in a healthy way. Instead, she hatches an elaborate plan to frame her husband for murder. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned is a famous saying, and I think would apply quite aptly to Amy Dunn. I mean, there's quite a few reasons why people might relate to Amy, like her dysfunctional marriage, her surface level friendships, and her feelings of inadequacy growing up. Despite many people sympathising with her, I think few people go to the destructive lengths that she goes to. And yet there are still people who idolise Amy Dunn, or at least are Amy Dunn apologists, that she believes that everything she done was absolutely correct and right. And instead they blame Nick for her actions. Like, okay, Nick is nowhere near perfect, like he has a load of issues as well, but Nick is responsible for his own actions, much like how Amy is responsible for her own actions. Just because you're wronged by someone doesn't justify bad things that you do. And I'm hesitant to call what we see romance. I don't see any romance when it comes to Amy or Patrick or anyone like that. At least to me, that's not love. Like, maybe that's just me. It's more of a need to possess them or commodification of the partner. They're not after someone to love and to hold. They're after just another accessory like a nice necklace or a big house. To them, they're not a person, they're a thing. They're a something to be owned, and I think that sort of says something about the people that do idolise these characters. I mean, not all characters are going to channel that in negative ways. Like, look at Officer K, he doesn't. And for female literally me characters, look at Lisbeth Salander. But yeah, she starts off misanthropic and aloof, but as the film goes on, she starts to open up and starts to gain feelings for Mikhail, to the point where she even considers romance, until the film right at the very end just stomps her down and breaks her, which, oh come on, that's just cruel. And I think the other thing to think about is the romanticisation of suffering. Without a doubt, Amy and a lot of other literally me characters are mentally ill. And yeah, I'm glad that we as a society are shedding the stigmas of mental health. That's very good. But at the same time, these people, I believe, are glamorising and romanticising it to an unhealthy extent. You see these people on, say, Tumblr, or Instagram or TikTok who are glamorising their suffering, and they've got an audience who are right behind them and fueling the fire. It's as if they think that their suffering makes them more interesting as a person. And that relates a lot to literally me characters. A lot of the times, to make a character more interesting, they would often have a core wound, like some event or some trauma in their past that makes them them. It shaped them somehow into making them who they are now. It can make that character more interesting, and if it makes them interesting because of their core wound and their suffering, then maybe these people are thinking that maybe if I have some core wound or suffering or something like that, then maybe I can be more interesting as a person. And those with a greater social media following would not be dissuaded from that point. And anecdotally, it tends to be more females that do that, although males are not excluded from that at all. Like, you look at the whole Sigma male thing, or whatever Greek letter they'll come up with next. Like, come on guys, you're going to run out of Greek letters soon. I don't think there's much of a difference between male and female literally me characters, at least none that really matters. Cinema will always have broken and flawed and imperfect people because they're the ones that are just more interesting to watch. But I think the main issue is when people use those broken people as role models. It's happened decades prior, and to be honest, I think it's still something that's going to be happening years and years from now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you later.